Well, hello everybody, Twin Barrel J here, and every Monday, me and Rage normally jump onto F1 2017 and we have a chat about the Formula 1 race that's just been, when there has been one. And we've talked for a while about maybe doing a podcast. So, we just sort of had our chat as normal and I recorded it this time. And this is just sort of a tester, just to see if you guys like the idea of us sitting down and maybe doing a podcast every Tuesday, talking about Formula 1 in general, and of course the race if it's just been. So this is a very unedited, very unprofessional chat between me and Rage about the US Grand Prix, whilst we're playing some F1 2017. So I'd like to know your thoughts. Obviously, if we did do a proper podcast, we would do it a lot more professionally than this, as professional as me and Rage go, and there would obviously not be gameplay at the same time. But just let me know your thoughts on how it would go, whether you enjoyed it, and just sort of testing the waters really. And if you guys like the idea of this and enjoy the video, then let me know in the comments, like the video, and potentially we could start the podcast as early as next week after the Mexico Grand Prix. So, sorry about the audio balance is a bit off. Obviously, this was just me recording it while we were playing. It wasn't really intentional of being a test podcast, but I thought I'd put it out there and see what you guys think. So I hope you enjoy it, and do let me know your thoughts. Yeah, it was a good, interesting race. It was, I think it's a bit of a shame that Ferrari seemed to have lost so much pace. I mean, Lewis is always a specialist round there. Yeah. I think that Raikkonen and Vettel were quicker than Bottas shows that. It's not that much of a pace difference. It's mainly Hamilton at the moment. But.
Yeah, Hamilton is just in another plane at the moment. Just either Hamilton is on that other step, or Bottas is just shit. Which is weird because he would outperform Massa at times, and you know Massa's a proven driver. At least he's consistent. He's not slow, but he's consistent. So I don't know, it's a very weird one. Either Valtteri's really not happy with the balance of that car and he can't put it where he needs to put it, or there's something either not quite right on the other side of the garage, or there's something amazingly right on the other side of the garage.
I think
so,
Lewis,
I don't know.
Lewis always is that next step. I think Bottas, a lot of it is in his head. We can't forget that he's not that far off Vettel in the championship. He's had 2 wins and like 11 podiums this year.
Yeah. No, he's
done the business.
He's done well.
He's just doesn't seem to be on Rosberg's level. And
the problem is, I think he'll lose his seat.
Well, he's got it next year, isn't he? So he's got 1 more year to prove.
I think he'll lose his seat, and I think he'll lose it to Dan Ricciardo. And I'm scared actually, because Dan Ricciardo might even lose his seat this year. He's not signed yet, is he?
He's signed for next year.
Is he signed for next year?
They got both.
It turns out
next year, and then Verstappen's now signed an extension. So
to 20, yeah.
So
it turns out that
suggest that Ricciardo will go. Yeah.
Ricciardo will either go to Mercedes or Ferrari, no doubt, or McLaren if they pull their socks up. But I don't know about the switching. I'm not sure, but. At least it emerged that Ricciardo had no idea that he had the detuned engine.
Oh really?
He only found out that he had the detuned engine, or the non-upgraded engine, after the race.
I thought he had the upgraded one.
No. Max had the upgraded engine. Danny was on an old engine, one that was meant to last, or at least one that was meant to last to the end. Don't know how they thought they were going to get an engine through 3 races, but hey. You know, I guess they have to now, don't they? So you would have thought that if it was meant to go through 4 races, including, you know, if it had one before, it shouldn't have popped now. It's very, very odd.
I was sure that was a new engine from what I was reading. But I heard in qualifying, in the race commentary, when they were talking to Christian Horner, he said it was a new engine. No, when they did the interview with Daniel.
So it must have been a brand new engine. But
I thought it was a new engine, yeah.
It was a brand new engine, but what I'm saying is Max Verstappen had the newly tuned engine, so he had an upgraded engine, as opposed to Danny had the same engine that's been an old spec for the past couple of races. So it's a new engine, but it was on a lesser spec than what that Max was running.
It doesn't necessarily mean it was any better though, because Hulkenberg's went bang and he had the new one and Science didn't.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But I
it's
know
just how it goes.
You think they would tell him, but
it's the same old thing, you know. It's whoever Mr. Marco favours, as we all know from Mr. Mark Webber. Some things don't always go right within that team. I just want him out. I like it that Max is the golden child in that team, and I need a number 2. And I don't want that number 2 to be Dan Ricciardo because he's so good.
Well, I don't think he is a number 2. I don't think that's fair.
Do you not?
No. I know Max had a lot of issues, but he's miles ahead of Max this year.
I know. I get that, but from past experience with Mr. Helmut Marko, once he favours his driver, and once he's got that driver he likes, like we saw with Vettel and Webber, Max will get the benefit of that side of the garage more so than Dan will. Definitely, it won't be an even playing field.
Yeah, I don't think that situation arose because of the huge sort of advantage Ricciardo had, the Red Bull had on the rest of the field. I think when they're next year, I think they will make a step forward and they'll be up there. They're not going to be dominant though, no chance. So I don't think even Helmut Marko would really hedge his bets on having a number 1 driver when you don't have a dominant car. It's just not correct. You're not going to win a Constructors that's going to be as tight as it's going to be next year by doing that. But I think Ricciardo will go. I just think it's his time to go, and Verstappen will be an incredibly difficult teammate for him. And I think who
do you think would go up? Who do you think would move up?
I think Sainz.
Into Red Bull. I think Sainz would move over.
That was the whole point of putting him into Renault, is seeing if he thrashes Hulkenberg, like I think he probably will next year, then that confirms it, that he's ready, or that he's good enough. If he struggles against Hulkenberg or just about matches him, then I have to see. It also depends who Toro Rosso put in next year.
I'd love to see Dan Ricciardo in a Ferrari.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely. I think he'll replace Raikkonen. But a lot depends on what Vettel will do, because his contract's up. I don't know that they would put Vettel and Ricciardo in the same team. That's the difficulty. I think Ricciardo against Hamilton, I think they would be happy with each other. And they'd work well. Ricciardo and Vettel, probably not. I think a lot depends on what happens next year with the pace.
Yeah. Oh, next year's going to be so fucking good. Because if it all works out how it works out, and Renault get their act together, and they get a little bit more of that gap closed, Renault are now funding the Works team, the Red Bull team, and McLaren. 2 of those teams arguably have the best chassis on the whole grid. We could have fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 title contending cars. Well, teams. Do you know what I mean? We could have the Mercedes, the Ferrari, the Red Bull, the McLaren, and the fucking Renault all up there.
I think there's Renault, and I think Williams have a shot as well.
Well, yeah, you never know. Actually, yes, because they've got Paddy Lowe.
Yeah, it's his first car, and he's gone with he's transferred from Mercedes, whilst it's still the same engine formula. So everything he's learned at Mercedes is going to be applicable.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of tips and tricks that we can show them. And what we know for certain is I don't think anyone will be above Mercedes in terms of engine power. I think the gap might close, or someone might be level, but no one's going to go ahead. So they're still having the best engine. So yeah, I think it's. Well, I just hope it closes up next year. I really do, because we need.
Oh, it will. It will. Well, this year is the tipping point. This is it. I know Lewis is just he hasn't won easily. Yeah, fair enough. He may have done it in the end due to reliability, but it wasn't handed to him.
No. It has been a lot closer, and Red Bull's pace at the end of the season has been a lot more promising. I think Renault have developed their engine a lot more than people have given them credit for as well over the course of the year.
Oh, I think so, yeah, as well. It shows with Red Bull's pace. If Max was up there and didn't get his penalty, he would have been challenging Hamilton, I think. He would have been right up there.
Yeah, he definitely had the pace. And I think Vettel actually, from what I've seen from Hamilton's interviews, He seems to think Vettel destroyed his chances. He just destroyed his tyres straight away.
Oh, Vettel, yeah. That's what Hamilton said.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity for it to really close up. And we've got these engine regs till 2021.
I know.
So it's going to go the way it did by the time it got to sort of 2010, 11, 12. It's all going to close back up again. So, should be good. Well, that's the other discussion point, I guess. Well, the big one from yesterday. It's a controversial one to talk about, but Verstappen, Raikkonen.
Oh, well.
What do you think?
Oh, he shouldn't have been docked at all. He should have kept the position. 100%.
You see, I'm completely of the opposite opinion.
He should have kept the position, and you know why? Because he at the point of where he was overtaking Ferrari, he was overtaking Raikkonen, yeah, he was still on the track, okay? He made evasive action to the car coming over to take the apex, where he was at his side pod, that he had no option but to nick into the corner. And if you watch it again, you'll see he makes a change of direction when he's pretty much at his side pod to go over that part of the corner, because he knew if he stayed on the track, he would have hit him. It was a split seconds decision, and I think that I know people are saying, oh, but a lot of people have gone wide and they've, exceeded track limits on the exit of a corner, but not necessarily on the beginning of the corner or the middle of the corner on the inside. I get why they said that he couldn't, that he had to give up the place, but I think just that instance there should have been leniency.
Yeah, there's a multitude of points here. The first one is a very minor one, which I will point out on Max's side. It's the same steward that's done him unfairly before, and they made a very rash decision. They should have had everybody in and seen both sides of it and had a discussion like they normally do. To make
it was Sato, wasn't it?
Didn't help. No, it was one of the other. There's 3 stewards, and it was one of the other ones, and he made a decision against him last year as well.
It was at Mexico. He fucked up the whole podium at Mexico.
But I completely agree that you see, the way I see it is, firstly, there's a clip that Mick Solo put on Twitter, which was the actual clip they reviewed, which is from the back left view on Raikkonen's car. And at the point Max goes over, all 4 wheels over, Kimi is well over 1.5 meters, if not more, inside the track. That's how much space there was. So I think Verstappen reacted, but Kimi actually opened up at the moment
gave him
that
space.
Max went in. So the space was there, but obviously Max had already thought he'd been challenged. But the outside bit was a bit of an issue. I was thinking every time it happened with Bottas and Ricciardo that it wasn't quite on.
No.
And of course the difference here is it's the inside of the corner, and it's a hard and fast rule. If you overtake someone
off the track
on the inside, the outside
you get an
is the
advantage
contentious bit, and that's what I think is annoying everybody.
Yeah.
But
fuck. I 100% agree with what you say. Literally, I do. The problem is, like, 2 corners or whatever before, when he overtook Bottas, he knew he did wrong, and he let Bottas back through, and he took the position on the next corner, right? So he knew he did wrong, so he already showed remorse for an action that he shouldn't have had that position. But the problem is, when he puts his car at such speed in that position, he's got no other option but to keep the car there. And fair enough, if... oh fuck, my wheel's not plugged in.
Oh dear. That's a pretty major issue.
The problem is, like you said, I just want to touch on this point. Like you said with, Raikkonen opened up to give him the space. The space was there, okay, so he had the choice.
You piece of shit.
I got disqualified. The space was there, so it doesn't matter if he was a meter further in. The space was already given. So he would have always, even if he stayed on the track, he still would have got in front. He still would have overtaken him. That's what I don't understand.
What's this lap, please? We need to get
It's
you
difficult
on new
to say
tyres
with
and
that
move
kind
on
of
to a
thing.
different strategy.
Jesus.
I've seen the video from behind. I know what you mean. It's better.
It opened up, yeah. But it's the whole thing is incredibly tricky. What I think is wrong is the way they made the decision there and then. It needed angles, it needed both sides of the coin. And it's not good for F1 to do it like that, because he gets taken off out of the podium room very publicly.
It's not fair.
And yeah, I think you're innocent till you're proven guilty, and I don't think that without listening to both of them, they should have made that decision that quickly. I think that's what's blown it out of proportion. But hey, I would like to see racing allowed, but they've just got to be consistent with the rules as well. That's the big thing that they made there as well. We've seen what's happened with. You think back to where was it? Hungary with Button and Vettel. Is it 13 or 12? 12. Where Vettel overtook Button on the last lap of the race round the outside after the hairpin off the track. And he got given a penalty for it. Position swapped back. And when you see Bottas and Ricciardo doing that multiple times, overtaking people, and then you penalise Max for essentially the same thing, I think that's the problem.
Complete, go now.
You penalise them all, you don't penalise anyone. Hey, we like a bit of controversy anyway.
It gets people talking about it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just unfortunate.
That was our last stop.
What did you think of
Scheduled pit
Sainz?
stops.
Oh, brilliant, Stark. Couldn't have asked for better, could he? It's great.
That is some result, just stepping into that car like that.
Yes, absolutely amazing. Brilliant. Yeah. Couldn't have done any better if he tried, could he? Really?
No, and I think it's going to be hugely interesting to see. Obviously, Hulkenberg backed out qualifying because of his penalty. It's going to be really interesting to see who gets on top in the next 3 races.
When I was watching the race, I went absolutely mad when Max took Raikkonen on that last corner. I went absolutely mad. I was like, fucking get in, Max, you absolute god!
It was a great move. I will say another point on that. I immediately said he
Seeing
can't
minor
do
damage to the front.
Really?
Be easy on the car
it was
till we get it
it
repaired.
just
We don't want to risk making
looked
this
so
worse.
obvious the way he did it. I think that's what made them make such a quick decision. But yeah, same. It was some comeback, and yeah, Red Bull's race pace is falling down great at the moment.
That was very much almost like a karting move, wasn't it? It was very cheeky with the track limit, but unfortunately F1 is a little bit less forgiving.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
take it easy on the
Raikkonen and
car.
Bottas,
We can't sustain this level of
Bottas obviously
damage.
made a stop late, but Raikkonen's tyres were gone.
Oh yeah.
And he just set him up beautifully by attacking the section before, and knowing that he'd go out wide if he was on the inside. So, yeah, great move. There were some great moves into that corner in general in that race. Have you seen the Toro Rosso announcement?
No.
It's going to be Hartley and Gasly for the rest of the
Oh
season.
yeah, no, I did see that. Hartley let it slip yesterday anyway.
Did he?
Yeah, in an interview he was just like, yeah, well, I didn't do very good on the standing starts, that's something I'm going to have to work on if I go forward. So as soon as he went back, Mark just goes, I think he let that slip there, because obviously Mark knows. Mark already knows what's going on. Mark's, isn't he something to do with his managing team anyway? Mark's already deep within that the whole Hartley estate anyway, so Mark already knows what's going on. He just can't contractually say.
Well, they were teammates for 3 years. I don't know about
Well, they were. I've got a funny feeling that Hartley might be managed by Team Webber, because he's got his own. Him and his wife, Mark Webber's wife, is a motorsport manager, so I think they might have him under his wing.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting to see him get a proper shot. that being said, Kvyat did a stellar job.
I know.
Where has that been?
I know. Look, the guy was like thrown out on a limb almost. You know, this is your last chance, your last hurrah. I feel really bad for the Torpedo. Like, he is a character in F1, definitely. You know, some people don't like him. I personally, I'm not a massive fan. I don't really like.
I don't like him as a personality. I think he's just been very hard done by.
Yeah,
he's clearly got the speed in there.
He's a rocket at a rocky road, isn't he?
Let's not forget he was chosen over Sainz.
Yeah.
For the Red Bull team, when he did get promoted, and he'd come off the back of a podium when they fired him. But I mean, it's harsh, but I think he's had more than enough chance this year to show that he's still hungry for it.
Yeah.
He just hasn't done that.
Well, I think the Silverstone incident sealed his fate, really. That was the final nail in his coffin, unfortunately, and now he's fighting for the Williams seat, isn't he? Really, there's so many people in for that Williams seat, it's unbelievable.
Kvyat won't get the Williams seat.
Kvyat's already in talks. He's already in talks with Paddy Lowe, straight on the blower.
He's not old enough, is he?
Why not?
Williams have to have someone over 25.
Oh, what for the
Martini.
what's it call it?
Yeah.
Well, he was already on the blower.
Oh, wait, I don't think he's old enough.
Well, I don't know. That's all I've heard. I heard on the grapevine.
Well, he can
be
be on the blower all he wants, but unless he brings a title sponsor.
Yeah, well,
he brings
Russian money, and you know Williams like their money.
Unless his money will replace Stroll's, and
Yeah.
Stroll goes. So
Well,
I'm pretty
Stroll
sure
also brings a
isn't
lot of money.
Signed yet.
Like I said, he was on the phone to Williams as soon as that race ended. What I was going to say
How do you know
is
that?
because I have my sources.
That's just rumour mill.
No, that's not rumour mill, mate. I have my sources. He was on the blower. Well, not him, but his team were. That's a rage.
Online Scrabble.
Nah, that's a rage seal of approval, Eddie Jordan style special underground news. And
I've lost faith in Eddie Jordan's
No,
rumours the last few years.
What I'm saying is,
Ever since he played the spoons on Top Gear, to be honest, I'm really just not a fan.
This is your final lap. Final lap
that
of the
was
race.
a little, under the table bit of information, and I won't reveal my sources.
What was he doing under there?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Did he talk while he was doing that?
No, definitely not. Ask Mr. Marco.
Well, he's obviously not very good at it then.
Not anymore. So his big teeth, you see.
Let's not go any deeper into that one. Is also what he said.
That's what Mr. Marco said.
Okay, wonderful.
Family friendly here.
One thing, have Haas confirmed Magnussen for next year?
You mean Mr. Suck My Balls, mate?
Oh, Mr. Whiny Smashy McGee.
Mr. the most unfair driver on the whole grid at the moment.
It's like
I
a
don't
broken
think so.
record that he got literally that one comment in a race early on where he was like, oh, that's how we're doing it now because everyone's being really unfair. And he's been the only one that stayed doing it.
Green flag.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was because of Max Verstappen, wasn't it? I think back in Hungary, maybe. I don't know. Something happened in Hungary. Maybe it was something to do with I don't know.
No, it was earlier than that. It was one of the first few races where
it was with Max, wasn't it? I swear it was with Max.
It was the lower midfield. It was like Alonso, Vandal. There was a bunch of them that were all just playing bumper cars.
Yeah.
First lap. He said, I think. I don't know. But anyway, that's what it stems from.
I don't think anything's locked in with Haas at the moment. I think it's a given that Grosjean will stay.
Grosjean signed, I know that.
Grosjean will stay.
I've got a feeling Magnussen signed as well.
I'm honestly not sure. What Gunter does, Gunter does.
Well, I just think it'd be a very bad choice to keep him.
Oh!
Signed.
Heavens
Across
above.
the line.
Oh, good. Well, you think it's a bad decision to keep him? You don't like K-Mags anymore? I love the drama he brings.
Well, that's great, but
The thing is, I don't
just not-
like anyone from Haas at the moment. Roman
No.
Grosjean is a whiny, Ferrari ass-kissing French bastard who could do better off in a different race series because that's all he's good for. And K-Mags is fucking unfair. Can you tell I don't like Roman Grosjean at the moment?
No, I would agree with you. I don't like him at the moment. I think a lot of this stems from the promise that they showed at the beginning of last year, and he's just getting more and more frustrated because he's not got his God-given right that is a Ferrari drive. Calm down, Roman.
He literally thinks that I'm gonna laugh so hard when a seat comes up, and they just jump straight past Roman. The thing is, though, this was his opportunity to prove that he's ready for the real red seat, and at the moment, he's proved that he's a whiny bitch. Because the whole time he is fucking on that radio, he's moaning, and I get it's been a baptism of fire in that car. The brakes have not worked at all for years. So
I don't know what they're using. They're like old corrugated bits of iron.
I've no idea. They're just like, Gene, I'm sorry,
with
mate.
horse hooves.
But these tuck biscuits aren't going to hold on next year, mate. We're going to have to change it. Oh, is that what you meant to use as pads? I've no idea.
Why have we got a cat on the fly-by-wire? It's supposed to be a pedal here.
Oh, someone's actually programmed Tetris into the fly-by-wire system. For some reason, it's not working.
Before you can hit the pedal and the brakes actually work, you've got to line up a block.
Yeah, literally just as you go into braking zone.
The start to Mario, wasn't it?
Yeah, same thing, man.
Not really. But to be fair, if it wasn't for the whininess, he's had some fairly decent results. I think the problem is the one thing you don't want to do trying to get a job at Ferrari is moan. It's the one thing they will not put up with.
No, it is. A man is not bigger than machine.
No, really not. But yeah, all in all, pretty interesting race. I'm just really looking forward to next season now. I think
Driver of the day.
So interesting.
Sponsored. This is Driver of the Day, sponsored by Cream in a Can.
I was thinking about using this as a podcast.
Driver of the Day, sponsored by Cream in a Can.
That joke won't work unless you've watched a very specific co-op episode. But yes, if you have a dessert or just need a thirst quenched, then please do take a Cream in the Can. Driver of the day's got to be Verstappen. There's no way around that.
Oh, interesting.
He easily did the best job on the grid.
Oh, interesting.
Well, come on, 16th to almost second.
No, very good. Yeah. Mm.
And
There's
Mr.
one driver
Lovey
of the day.
Hamilton lover.
There's
saying?
one driver of the day,
Yep.
and he was in a banana boat, and it is Carlos Sainz.
I think all he's done is adapted. That's where the car was. He didn't do anything spectacular in it.
Look,
Just very
there's one driver of the day,
surprising he
and
jumped
it's
in. Leave in the comments below who you thought the driver of the day was. And no, Aston Maldonado does not count before you say it. What am I doing today?
I know I span already.
Not the best podcast format to also be racing.
So driver of the day was, in my opinion, Carlos Sainz, and driver of the day, in Jamie's opinion, was Max Verstappen. Driver of the day today was brought to you by Cream of the Can. When you really need to quench that thirst or want to put on a tasty flan, you pull out Cream in a Can.
Tasty flan? What are you, grandmother rage?
It
I've got a
rhymes
flan
with
for you!
Oh dear, how could
Oh, you put cream in a can! Got us through the blitz, that did!
You got a flan! All you need is cream
We
in
got
a
a
can!
plan! It's cream in a can!
See?
It's coming
It
together.
goes well. Other cream is sold and is available in a variety of different stores.
Fuck it, this ain't the BBC. Only cream in a can. It's the only cream
You
in a
may
can.
only buy cream in a can.
They've trademarks and patented putting cream in a can.
They have. They've done it well. It's a very nice flavour.
You know, you probably can get cream in a can.
You can get cream in a can.
I'm sure
It's
you
not.
can. It's so alien to us.
You can. I know you can get cream in a can. Normally, evaporated milk comes in a can.
Well, that's not cream, is it? That's what I was thinking, but it's
Okay.
cream.
Well, I've never actually had real cream in a can. I've had evaporated milk in a can. But there you go. Any last summarising thoughts on the race and what we go into Mexico? Summarised in
just
10 words or less.
No, you're not going to get a summary that short from me. Yeah, great race. It's just reminds me of how much of a shame it is that the title battle's petered out because of Ferrari's unreliability. But as always, the high point has been midfield. Just incredible racing all the way through it. Verstappen, great performance. Mexico's going to be really interesting. I'd like to see Ferrari bounce back there. I think Red Bull could go well round there. So yeah, good race, not great, but good, and interesting to see Mexico. How about you?
Oh, great! At one point, I almost thought we were going to see the title battle that we've been looking for the whole season. Unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition, but I'd love, and I can't wait now, even more so than I was looking for the Ferrari-Mercedes battle, is now the Red Bull-Mercedes battle. And hopefully we'll get that in Mexico, like you said. So yeah, good things to come from the last couple of races.
For sure. Oh, you bunch of boys. So yeah, I guess it's been sort of a tester podcast episode. If we did do them, we wouldn't do them whilst we were racing, but at least you got a little bit of racing action at the same time. So just let us know what you thought. Let us know what you thought of the race as well and your driver of the day. And use the hashtag cream in a can and show your selfies you with cream in a can today. If you go to the supermarket, do they really sell cream in a can?
Pictures will be shown next week. If you prefer a different format, maybe including us sitting here in long-backed armchairs, smoking pipes and turtlenecks, then this is something we can also provide.
You got the chairs?
I'll get the chairs if they're needed, my
Oh
friend.
my god! What happened?
What?
No idea. Something just smashed me.
That was not me. That's I've gone too.
On that note,
damaged. You've lost
again soon.
on the car. Hit and